In this video, I will share 4 simple steps to build your personal finance strategy, and this is simpler than you think. Hello everyone, this is Anupam Roongta and welcome to the video. Now, if you ask people around you or families around you, most of them have not created their personal finance plan. Most of them, it would be like negligible number of people who have created their financial plan and they're working according to that. Now, what's the reason behind that? There can be 2 broad reasons behind that. Number 1, most of the people do not know how to do that, right? And number 2, those who even know or they have some notion about what all has to be done, they think it's a huge task, and it's like reluctance to carry on with that task and take that step by step and put that effort and time into it, right? So these are the 2 broad reasons why people are not making their financial plan and not working according to that. Now, in today's video, I'll share very basic 4 simple steps which will help you make your personal finance strategy, and it is actually much simpler than you are thinking about, right? So let's start with the first step. Now, there are 4 pillars to making your financial plan. The number 1 pillar is called insurance. Now, when you talk about insurance, there are 2 insurance policies which you must have. Every family, every individual should have that policy. The policy number 1 is called a term plan. Now, term plan is beneficial for that individual on whom a few dependent family members are there. So maybe it could be your parents or it could be your spouse and children, right? Now, if there is no one who is dependent on you right now, you do not need a term plan. A typical advice which goes is that just buy a term plan as soon as you start earning, or within like first 1 or 2 years of your earning. But that's not really goes. It's not like a generic advice which one should take. Why? Because you need a term plan only when there is someone dependent on you financially. If there is no one dependent on you financially right now, you can wait for that period to come. Maybe when you start the family, when you get maybe married, then you should go for a term plan, right? That's number 1. Now, the second policy which you all should have is a health insurance, and the entire family should be covered in that. It should be a family floater plan, right? Now, a lot of people ask that should I cover my parents into the health insurance policy? The answer is no. Why? Because the health insurance premiums are designed in such a way that the oldest family member, as per the age of the oldest family members, the premium will be decided. So ideally, you should have your parents' policy separately and your policy separately, especially when you have started earning and you are in your in your career already, in your professional life. And within this, there is one more very common question, a very common misconception people have, that I have my insurance policy from my company, so why do I need health insurance now? Right? Now, I agree that the company, the kind of insurance your company is giving you, covering your parents, also covering you, it's like actually a very comprehensive policy. The only problem in this case is there will come a time when you will retire, or you will, let's say, take a break from the job, right? Let's say it is at the age of 50, 55, 60, 65, whatever age it is, you will take a break and you will say, or you will retire and you will say, now I will not work for any company. Maybe I'll do something of my own, or I'll just enjoy my life, with the money which I have built over the year, the wealth which I have built over the year. At that age, 55, 60, 65, the moment you retire, your insurance policy or your health insurance policy also retires. Now, if you go to an insurance company and say, I want a health insurance policy, most of the time they will deny, or they will exclude a lot of diseases out of that, and there will be a lot of limitations around it, right? And typically you need health insurance policy more in the old age. So think about it. Don't bank on the insurance policy which you have from your company, it is good to have that, but you should always have a standalone policy which can help you, at least, if not now, maybe after 20, 25, 30 years, and it is worth paying that premium for that long. Yeah. So that covers the first pillar, that is insurance. Pillar number 2, emergency fund. Now, you must have heard of this term, emergency fund. I'll just briefly explain you what it is. As the name suggests, it is a fund which will come to your rescue in the case of emergency. For example, a lot of people lost their jobs or their business income during the COVID period, right? Those who had this buffer of something called emergency fund, maybe it was kept in debt mutual funds or it was kept in FD or wherever, they were at much ease compared to those who had no such savings. Now, there were some people who had investments, but not really in an emergency fund. What is investment? By investment, I mean investment, let's say in a property or maybe an equity mutual fund or maybe in stock market. Now, the problem is when you break those investments, it is impacting your long-term financial goals. Plus, especially let's say in a case like COVID, which happened in 2020 when it started, the stock market went down sharply. And at that point only you needed money. So you break your investments when the market is down, that's even worse, right? So you should always have this buffer in a debt plan or maybe an FD, so that in case of emergency, you don't have to break your long-term financial investments, right? So that's about emergency fund. We all should have at least 6 to 12 months of emergency fund ready at any point in time, so that you can use that when the need arises. Now, to broaden this emergency fund, as the name suggests, the term is emergency, but you can always use this in case of let's say an unplanned vacation, right? Or any unexpected expense. It could be a small or major medical expense, or maybe small or minor or major some repair work in your home, or it could also be used to pay your income tax. Let's say you have to a big outgo is going for the income tax. Or it can be used to make investments for your income tax saving investments. For example, Jan, Feb, March, a lot of people rush to make those ATC, take those ATC benefit, right? So you have to, let's say, invest a chunk of amount. So that time also that emergency fund can be of use, right? So it could be some luxury expense. You want to buy some mobile phone, some smartwatch, or maybe some other luxury vacation. So it could be used for other things as well, not just for emergency. And as you use the emergency fund to some extent, just start replenishing it again, right? So just bring it to the level you want to maintain it to. So that's the pillar number 2, that is having an emergency fund. Now, pillar number 3 is taxation. Now, a typical approach of saving tax in India is you run for it in the month of Jan, Feb, March. Those who are in job, their companies demand the proof so that they don't deduct more tax. And in the last moment, in the 11th hour, you rush to find those policies or schemes or investments which will save tax for you. And more often than not, you end up buying something which you should not have bought. The ideal way of planning your taxes is right now, starting in April. You know what your salary is, you know what probable your income will be in this financial year, more or less you know about it, right? And you know the tax saving options. So please start planning and implementing in the month of April, so that you don't have to rush in the month of Jan, Feb, March and make those investments which are not meant to be done, right? And this can be done. This is not something which has to be done even every year. In fact, if you take that call today and do this research and plan your investments for next 1 year, you can continue the same thing next year also. Maybe you can review for a few minutes or few hours, and you will know what has to be done for the next financial year, right? But start now. Don't wait for Jan and Feb and March to approach, right? And within taxation, there are so many options available. ATC is the most common one. Most of the people know about it. ATC benefit of 1.5 lakhs. There are many other options. Ideally, go and maybe read on Google, or maybe consult a CA, a chartered accountant. It's worth taking their services, because this will save you much more money than what you will pay them in fees. So that's about the third pillar, that is taxation. Now, in my view, these 3 pillars are like the foundation of your financial plan. Without this foundation, whatever you do in the 4th pillar, it will not work. You have to build this foundation first, and then start talking about the 4th pillar, that is your financial goals. Now, most of the people, what they do is they start with investing directly with whatever financial goals they want to meet, which is good that you're starting, good that you're aware. But the problem is, if the foundation is not strong, any unexpected occurrence happens, any setback happens, any unplanned expenses happen, and that building which you have built over 3, 4, 5, 10 years, it just crumbles down. So please make sure that you have this foundation laid down, and then you come to the 4th pillar, that is your financial goals. Now, talking about financial goals, let's take an analogy. Let's say you are booking an Uber. You want to go from your place to, let's say, airport or whichever place you want to reach. What is the first thing you do when you open the Uber app? You set the destination. That is the goal. Now, is it possible for you to book the Uber without that destination? Without that goal, not possible. The same goes with your financial planning in life. Without setting the goals, if you're just randomly investing, that the thought process is let's just earn as much as we can, which is good. Let's just save as much as we can, which is very good. And let's just invest whatever we can. Now, this is where the problem is. It's fine that you are earning enough and you are saving enough. You're working hard to earn enough. You're working, then you're making sure that you're saving enough and you're investing enough. But if it is random, it will most likely not sustain for very long, because you don't know what you are saving for, what you're investing for. That motivation, that zeal to move towards that goal is not there, because there is no goal, right? So always have a goal defined, and every individual, every family has got like 4 or 5 broad goals with them, right? For example, buying that dream house, or buying that luxury car, or maybe those frequent vacations. If you have started a family, you have children, then children's education, their marriage, your retirement, right? There could be many goals around for any typical family. Now, one question I want to ask you: in all these goals which I listed, for example, housing goal, so you want to buy a house, or let's say education for your children, or marriage of your children, or your dream car, or your retirement. Which one is the odd one out of all of these, and why? Now pause this video, tell me in the comments box which of these goals which I listed is the odd one out and why. Once you answer, come back to the video and play. Alright, I hope you have answered in the comment box. Now, in all these goals which I listed, the odd one out is retirement. Why? For all the other goals, you get loan from the bank, but you don't get loan for retirement planning. You get a housing loan, you get a vehicle loan, you even get a vacation loan, you get an education loan, you get a personal loan for a business or for your child's wedding or whatever it is, but you cannot go to a bank at the age of, let's say, 55, 60, 50, whatever you want to retire, and tell them that I am retiring tomorrow and I need money for next 20, 25 years of my life. Please give me loan. They will not give you loan. So the most crucial part, or the most crucial goal when it comes to all the list of goals you have, is actually retirement planning. And this is the most ignored one, because this is the farthest one. This is the last goal which you have in your life, and that's why you think that there is a lot of time left. There is not a lot of time left. The earlier you start, the better it is, because after 10, 15, 20 years, you will come in that same group of people who will regret, I wish I had started earlier. I had all the time. There was no need to invest a huge amount of money. Even, children would have done, but I did not start. Please don't fall in that big club called regret club. Yeah, you have time. If you're in your 20s, even in your 30s, please start. And retirement is not as far as you think it is. Yeah. So this is the broad structure which you can form for planning or for making your financial plan. As I said, the first 3 pillars are the foundation, and on that foundation you build your financial goals, and you will definitely achieve all of them if you follow in a step-by-step manner and in a disciplined manner. Tell me in the comment box if you have any questions regarding what we discussed in this video, and I'll be more than happy to answer it. All the best for your financial planning.